So we're going to space and back, but we're going to first start in Iran. You were born in Iran. You actually lived through the Iranian Revolution before you, like so many of the Iranian diaspora and brilliant brain power, moved away. Tell us about Iranian women.
I can tell you, interacting with Iranian women in Iran and abroad, I think that Iranian women are one of the most powerful women communities in the world. They had to be because they went through revolution, wars, conflicts, and they're the ones that have to keep the family together. They have to push things forward. I know many women, when they came here with their family, their husbands went through deep depression because they lost high-paying jobs and their careers and their lives in Iran, and they just thought that they will go back. And the women thought that, well, I need to make ends meet for my family. So they stepped up, and now I think they have a lot of high-powered careers here because of that.
That's interesting. And speaking of high-powered careers, one of the highlights of your career was 2006. You joined the space crew of the Russian spacecraft Soyuz, and you went to the International Space Station for 11 days. So you were out in space. 2 questions. How did it change your life, and how did you wash your hair?
It was a dream of mine since very young age to go to space, and I got this opportunity that exceeded all my expectations. I had dreamt about going to space, so I imagined how it would be and how I would feel, and when I was actually there, it just was transformational for me.
How so?
To be able to see our world from, to see Earth from space, even though I had seen many pictures, it had a different impact. So I could feel this energy of life. I could see the world for truly being our only home. And you grow up in geography classes, and everywhere you see a map, you see these lines separating us. And when you see our planet from space, you are empowered in ways that it's beyond words. You feel like you belong to the entire human population on Earth, so that your home becomes the planet Earth, and every single person on it becomes, part of your clan in a way. And you also realize how small our world is and how unique it is compared to the entire universe. You see this dark background and all these stars, and each have their own planet systems, and you think to yourself, well, but look at it, this is beautiful, colorful, full of life and energy, and there's this thin halo of a blue light, which is our atmosphere, which is the only reason we're alive on this planet. And it makes you realize how important it is, and it helped me sort of put things in perspective. It was like my eyesight were not good, and I put on a glass for the first time, and everything cleared up, and my life became in focus.
And washing your hair?
My hair. So
she was telling me this story last night. That's why I wanted to share it.
So there are no showers on the space station, and you stay there. I stayed there for 11 days, but some people stay 6 months. So there are no showers. You get some towels, wet towels every few days to clean yourself. But the hair becomes another issue. So most people actually cut their hair short, but I didn't. So you have water that you drink in these little containers. So what I did is, through a straw, I would squeeze a little bit of water, make a little water bubble all over my hair, very slowly wash it. And I had to be very careful so I don't get the water bubbles, flowing all over the station. Because we're in microgravity, so the water doesn't flow, it floats. So it becomes a big issue.
So, and when you returned, you had a lot of photos taken, and you look fantastic. So that it worked. And I should say that your name, Anousheh, means immortal. So you've gone on, it was so appropriate, I think, to take this space journey. But now you've gone on to be CEO of the XPrize. And that is, tell everybody what that is and how it drives innovation.
Sure. So I actually got involved with the XPrize Foundation many years ago, from the beginning days, when Peter Diamandis, the founder, came up with the idea of a prize that would propel the space industry and create a commercial space program. And he modeled it after the Ortiz Prize, which did the same thing with Lindbergh and the aviation. So when he started, no one would support this $10 million prize, and all the men around said too risky. So he found the only woman who said, this is an amazing idea. You can de-risk R&D. You can actually get everyone to work on your passion and your project without paying anything, and you only pay at the end. So that's what the competition does, and it was very successful, and it created a leverage of the $10 million bringing $100 million in investment and creating a $2 billion industry now. And it brought a policy change and awareness like nothing before. So we took this model and we expanded it into solving humanity's grandest challenges, where there is lack of awareness, lack of investment, lack of breakthroughs. And we are in many different domains: energy, food, health, environmental issues. And we run these large competitions because we believe the answers are out there. We crowdsource this in a way. We put the framing of the problem. This is what you need to solve. You can be anyone from anywhere. You don't have to be a scientist or a mathematician or an engineer. You can be a tattoo artist.
Yeah, tell them about the tattoo artist and the dentist.
So one of our prizes, which Wendy Schmidt sponsored, and she had sponsored a lot of our ocean prizes. This was about oil cleanup. It was right after the accident and the oil spill that was plaguing everyone. And she calls like, let's do an XPrize. And we got together and launched this. And there was a tattoo artist in Las Vegas, and one of his clients, a dentist, was there. And they were talking about this prize. They had heard about it on the news, and they're like, what if we do something, and what do you use to clean the ink? And I have this instrument I use in dentistry. So they made up a team, and they actually were one of our finalists. And we hear a lot of stories like that. Just a few months ago, we awarded a junior high school team $800,000 for winning the bonus prize for our ocean discovery. And we love that, because we believe if you incentivize people and you give them a target to hit, then you have no idea what kind of innovation can come from where. And we're very proud for our global coverage.
So what give us like one or two problems that are out there that there's a contest for that coming up?
So right now we're very focused on environmental issues because time is running out for us. So we have an active carbon prize, which is taking carbon out of a coal plant or a natural gas plant and turning it into a product. And it's being tested actually. One center is in Alberta, Canada, and one center is in Wyoming. So we're in the final stages of testing our 10 finalists. We'll announce it next year. And we're about to launch our largest ever carbon prize that is going to be about $100 million or more. And it will be about extracting carbon at a very high rate to get to the gigatons that we need to get to, and extracting it from the atmosphere and either turning it into a product to create a circular.
Extracting carbon, like you could actually turn around global warming because you'd be extracting carbon and turning it into a product?
Yeah, because if we use all solar energy and stop putting so much CO2 in the atmosphere, there is so much accumulation, and still we will be producing so much more that we won't hit our target of staying below 1.5 degrees. So we need to do something.
That's fascinating. So what would a product be? Like, give me an example of.
So the products that the teams are creating, it goes anywhere from shoes and flip-flops to vodka to cement. So we have all sorts of creative ideas on anything that use polymers and
okay, so tell us time-wise, what should we look for when that's going to be announced?
So I think the second quarter next year, we will have the testing finished at the centers, and we'll be announcing. And we hope to we're helping our teams. This is one thing that we're starting to do more of. We want to get the products to the market, so we're starting to make partnerships to create advanced market demand for our teams, because these solutions are getting out there, but they need a little bit of a spotlight
Lift,
to get out there.
So before we run out of time, I do want to get your prognosis on space. Space exploration, I think, is something that gets short shrift, and in fact, it's going to change our lives dramatically because there's a lot happening. What are we going to see in the next 5 to 10 years?
So there's a lot happening both in manned flight operations and non-manned flights. So a lot of people here may be already aware of all the differences that the satellite technology have made in the way we understand global warming and the changes in our planet. Earth observation and sensing has given, with AI and machine learning, have given these opportunities to insurance companies, to farmers, to any financial market to look at how things are changing and accordingly make decisions. So it's helping decision making at every level. You know, a lot of these technologies, because of space and what we've been able to do in reducing the cost of access to space and the shrinking of technologies in sensing and satellite operations. So you have CubeSats and nanosats now that are put out there. We also, if you go a little bit further in time, one of the things I'm excited about is if we could take actually our data centers that all these companies use, the cloud basically, because everything is in the cloud. These are massive data centers that are huge energy drain because of the power they need for the computing and also cooling. And if we put them in space, actually orbit, and then
putting data centers in space, shooting them up into space.
Yes, not for real-time applications, but for storage. We store tons of images that's consuming so much energy. So putting them in space will actually reduce the cost because nobody pays for the energy of the sun in space, and it's already cold. So it's the cost of just putting them up there. And an entrepreneur that had heard me talk about this came to me a few months ago and said, I'm going to do it. And he's putting a business model and he's fundraising. So
that's
I'm
incredible.
hoping that it will happen.
Okay, what about Moon and Mars?
I think we're going to start building a base on the moon because we need to learn how to live in space before we can go to Mars. Mars, I think it's still another maybe 30, 35 years away for humans to step on Mars. And we first will be sending robots to build our habitat, 3D print our habitat, and create an environment where we can actually live in. And then I think humans will go to Mars. But we will have something on the moon so we can test out all these technologies and learn how to live for a very long time in space because our body changes when we're in microgravity and we lose bone density, we lose muscle mass. Psychologically, it has an impact on us. So finding solutions for all these problems will require some time.
So in the 1 minute we have left, when you look at all these big guys out there doing stuff, the Elon Musk, the Jeff Bezoses, who do we watch?
Well, of course, Elon has advanced tremendously the whole commercial space and reusable rocketry, so the cost has been reduced, but I think Jeff has a lot up his sleeve that he's not talking about, and very soon he's going to enter the market, and competition is always good because it drives innovation and brings the costs down, so I'm excited about both their work, but more importantly, I love the fact that a lot of it had to do with XPrize at the beginning, getting NASA to actually give an opportunity to the commercial space and work in partnership. So I think where government agencies and private sector can partner, especially in early tech, a lot of the environmental issues will require that. So when it comes together, then it creates an opportunity that benefits both the government agencies and the public long term.
Anousheh, thank you for being at the forefront of our future and bringing innovation to it and broadening the brain power that's going into planning our future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.